Hello, everybody, and welcome to this next installment of our Made with Switcher live streaming series, where we like to dedicate these live streams to awesome creators and people who are making awesome live videos and video in general using Switcher Studio. I'm Dan Petrick. I'm one of the co-founders of Switcher Studio and the senior product educator here. And I have some awesome guests with you today. I'm just going to go ahead and bring them in, and then we can talk about everything that they're doing out there. So welcome Richard and Zoe of Zoe's Fancy Cakes. First of all, thank you for joining us. I know the time changed a little weird. It's probably getting right there at dinner time for you all there in the UK, of course. And yeah, I think you could tell from the title, but they make really awesome cakes. So I was telling them earlier when I was asked to host this live stream, I started checking out their YouTube page and their Facebook page and their website, and I got more and more excited because the stuff they're making out there is awesome. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and maybe talk a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Zoe.
And I'm Richard.
Richard does all the technical stuff. I don't have a clue how you do anything technical whatsoever. And I decorate cakes. I don't do a huge amount of baking, believe it or not, but I decorate cakes. But we have a cake decorating business where we run classes. We have like free tutorials, paid for tutorials, and then we sell cake decorating supplies and equipment as well. And that's basically what we do.
Yeah. So yeah, we just like to make videos and sell products, basically.
That's excellent. Yeah. And somewhere along the way, you found Switcher Studio, and we're really excited that you did, and that became part of the everything y'all are doing. So let me first of all say thank you everybody out there as well who's tuning in and watching this live stream. If you have questions as we're going along for Zoe and Richard, please put those in the comments, and we'll be happy to answer some of those as we're going along, talking through all this fun stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of jump in, but before we get into the meat and potatoes of live stream question, I guess it's not. We're talking baking, right? It's not meat and potatoes. It's what? Flour, sugar, milk. Is that right? Eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. But before we get into those, let's start off with more of a fun question. So, fancy cakes. Do you have maybe a favorite design that you do, or just a favorite cake in general that you've made? And all of them. And for those of you who haven't seen it, go check out their YouTube channel, because there's hundreds of cakes and they're all amazing.
Oh, thank you. So now I get asked all the time this question, and I think everyone's always disappointed with my answer because I forget all the ones I've made. I've done so many different ones, I tend to forget. And every week I have a different favorite. I think what was your favorite?
To give you a bit of an idea, we've got over the years, we've probably got about over 550 video tutorials on cake decorating. So there's a lot of cake videos out there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think my favorite was, Tracer from Overwatch. I did
Okay.
I did a Tracer one, but it wasn't for anyone and it wasn't even for a video. I wanted to do it for fun. So I think that's why it was my favorite.
Had the UK connection there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you made a life-size centaur as well. That's in our
living
room.
Centaur. I wouldn't say it was my favorite. It was very stressful.
Yeah, I'm impressed too. Like whenever I see someone building a cake that is this fancy, I'm always amazed, because it's like at the end of the day, it's going to be eaten. It's going to be gone. So it's like all this amazing effort and work putting into something that's going to be consumed in the end. So I think you're seeing right now a Chewbacca up there. I like that one. That's one of the more recent ones, correct?
Was that last week's?
Well, it was on May the 4th, so Star Wars Day. So
okay.
Yeah, and that was one of the ones for the Facebook page on the Facebook Lives.
Mm-hmm. And I'll mention too, you guys are going live tomorrow at 6 p.m. your all's time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's a giraffe. Is that right?
Yes, I've got it with me, but I don't know if you can see it on the Can you change our camera angles from there or not? I don't know.
Oh, you've already got it there.
Yeah,
well, we did it.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there you go on this one here.
It doesn't look very nice from the side. It's more front view that it's. That's what we're doing.
Very cool.
It's got a bit of a short snout, so it's not very nice side. But
I love the facial expressions too. Are great.
That's what we're making tomorrow.
Excellent. So yeah, if you guys want to see this happen live, and we're gonna start talking through your all's mindset and how you come up with these ideas and everything. But if you guys want to see one of these productions happen live, make sure to tune into that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Is it UK? Like, what's the time zone?
Yeah, UK time.
UK time.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the live streaming stuff. So, when did you all begin live streaming, and what kind of drew you to maybe, I guess, doing video in general, and then the live video component on top of that?
Well, video in general, we started actually with YouTube, didn't we?
Yeah.
A long time ago, probably even before I started it as a business. And I was making cakes to sell, like the cakes to people. And people were asking all the time, like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And I was fed up of typing out how I made things because it's difficult to explain things in text.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother said, why don't you film it? And I thought he meant, so I send people the videos of me. He says, no, you put it on YouTube. He said, you film it and you put it on YouTube. So that's where it first kind of started, wasn't it, really? And then from the YouTube, we got requested for actual face-to-face classes. So until coronavirus, we were doing a lot of face-to-face classes, and I travel all over the world teaching, just the decorating part, not the baking, more just decorating. And I would say, did we do many on Facebook? We didn't really do many on Facebook, did we? We got a lot of requests from people saying, will you do the Facebook Lives? Everyone else is doing the Facebook Lives. And I'm not very up to date with like technology at all. I'm rubbish with technology. So I kind of avoided it for a while, doing them through like Facebook. And then when coronavirus happened, I think we'd maybe done one, because we had a guest teacher come, and she wanted to do one because she used to do the Facebook Lives all the time. So she persuaded us to just do one, and we'd just done that one, and it was it. And then when coronavirus happened, we were like, well, maybe we should give it a go, because we had to cancel all our face-to-face classes. It was like a year's worth of work, really, wasn't it? That got cancelled for us. And I thought, well, we'll take things online. We'll do these Facebook Lives as like free videos for people. And we started with 2 a week, didn't we, initially? And,
2. We're doing every Tuesday and Thursday mornings. When COVID for like lockdown 1 happened, or COVID 1, so back in February, March last year, I think, was when we first started the Facebook Lives.
But we couldn't believe how popular they were. So, but they've gradually kind of, we take it to 1 a week, and I've just, as from like this month, we said we're taking it down to 2 a month, just because we've got a huge amount of work on. And I was doing them mornings, so that I was at the shop anyway doing them. But I think now that more people are back at work, they're not viewing as much in the mornings, more in the evenings, and I don't have as many evenings free to do as many of the lives.
So is it like I say, because it's just changing the times, and obviously your audiences, obviously the last year people have been at home a lot, whereas obviously people are back in work now. So it's just finding a perfect time to catch people as well, really.
Yeah, you're kind of jumping ahead. I was going to ask you about that, and that's a great segue to that point. Just talking about finding the right time to go live. So you guys were doing it at 10:30 just because people were home. So can you maybe talk about? Did you look at certain statistics? Was it viewers live, views overall, or anything? Or are you just kind of making guesses and seeing how it goes? Or
at first, it was what we found easiest for us, wasn't it?
It
was because it was the free videos. It's different, like if we do, because we do Facebook Lives in private groups as well, and I do them as paid for classes, so they're far more detailed than like the ones that we just do on our main Facebook page, or the ones in the private group. So those ones, we do think about the time a lot more, and we make sure that it's a time where people are back from work, or certainly the UK. I know it doesn't work for everyone's time zone in other countries, but within the UK, it's sort of after tea time or about your evening. Oh, you call it dinner time, I forget.
Yeah, dinner time.
I think it's just because we're northerners in the UK that we call it tea time. But yeah, dinner time. So those ones were more kind of thought about time-wise. But then the Facebook Lives during the day, I didn't want to go too early because I wanted her to have time to come into work and set up a bit. But they're not very planned, are they, really? I usually, most of the time, make it up as I go along. Tomorrow's is different. I did a practice one, so I had a picture to show everyone. But usually, I decide about half an hour before we go online what I'm doing. And 10:30 just kind of give me enough time to get into work, get set up, have a quick think about what I was going to do. But I did not really consider too much whether people would watch at that time. It was just convenient for me.
Just like, we're going to do it this time. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there, so when you're planning them, you say you just kind of go in and do them. Is there anything that you kind of plan for to make sure people are able to follow what's going on when they're watching live? And is there any key differences between what you have to do on like a live video versus what you're doing in person?
So the live videos are good in that I don't have to set up a classroom. So I don't have to get out enough tools and equipment for every single person that's attending. Like they can just sort themselves out, and I don't have to clean up the mess from everyone after the class as well on a live, which is always nice because it's quite messy out there, the classes that we do. I would say, like, again, there's a little bit of a difference with when we do like a live stream in a private Facebook group where it's paid for one to when it's the free ones. The free ones, I don't give people a list of what we're gonna use in advance, whereas the paid for ones in the private Facebook groups, I will have already made an example one. I would have weighed out all the materials and things that they're going to need and all the tools and equipment, so they will have got a full list of everything they need, and I'll go through it a little bit slower as well. Whereas the Facebook lives that we were doing weekly, the free ones, I'd tell, so we've got a member of staff called Emily that she watches them and she put links in as I go along for people of what I'm using. So I usually give her a rough idea of what I think I'm going to use, which is probably really frustrating for her because I usually end up using different things to what I've told her. But yeah, as we go along, she will put in links, and especially if people will say, oh, where can I get hold of that thing that you're using, that tool? And she'll just put a link, which is linked to our shop because we sell most of the tools and equipment that I would usually use anyway. So she's very good with that. And it means that like I don't have to watch the comments on the video. You do watch them, but you're not having to worry about kind of going to another website page to find the links and stuff. So she looks after all that for us. And I got completely sidetracked and I talking about something different, and I forgot what the question was.
Oh, you nailed it there. Yeah, I was just asking about the differences between baking in person and versus online, and you hit that, and that's just kind of your live streaming plan. And it's funny, you know, our worlds are both live streaming, or that's one part of it. And it's funny to hear you talk about, you know, you coming up with a list of ideas or things that you probably will be using. So, you know, someone watching along can help out and put those in and keep up with comments. And that's very similar to how I do. I'll set up and do webinars on how to use Switcher Studio and do other things and talk through, you know, maybe a specific part of the product. And I will tell people, or like, I'll usually have a couple of people in the comments as well. And I'll give them the articles I think I'm going to be referencing, so they know to put those in the comments. So it is interesting to hear how it can be a similar process. So yeah, as the title of these streams are, it's the Made with Switcher. So you all are obviously using Switcher. Can you talk a little bit about how you landed on using Switcher Studio for your live streams?
As well, did a bit of Google research. Because when we first decided we were going to do some live streams, as much as we've done videos, neither of us are like super technical into video production. So I did a bit of Google research, and obviously a couple came up. We had a trial with Switcher Studio. It's pretty much, I think it's the first one we even trialed, to be honest with you. It worked with all our devices. It was swift, efficient. It did what we needed to do. I could work it, which was a great bonus. I mean, it sounds daft, but you know, when you're doing something new, you don't want to be worrying about, oh, how do you do that? How do you do that? It was quite self-explanatory. I think even over the years that, I mean, we've been using it a year now, Switcher Studio. Like in the time that's gone on, there's so many little tweaks that have come on here and there that have made it a bit better, a better experience as well. But the fundamental is it's a nice, easy to use interface that I think most people can do. You don't need a huge amount of equipment either. I mean, like when we first did it, we had an iPad and an iPhone. And that was it. Do you know what I mean? And over the years, you get a bit better iPad, you get a few other bits and pieces, but you don't essentially need much equipment to work with it and look professional at the same time.
We've got quite a few mobile phones, haven't we, that we use for the videos? But that's because I'm a bit of a hoarder, and every time I get a new mobile, I keep the old one in a drawer, and which turned out really handy because you can use them now for loads of different camera angles.
Sure.
Well, that's it. And that was the other thing, because of what we do, cake decorating, you want a variety of angles that you can stream at the same time, because you want some top down, some sidewards. Are we frozen? Are we all right?
Keep going.
Some top down, some sidewards, other angles as well, so you can kind of get them all in one screen, which worked really well, didn't it? Made us look fancy.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I'm gonna just reintroduce you guys in case people are just tuning in. We have Zoe and Richard here, Zoe's Fancy Cakes. They're doing live streaming and all that fun stuff, showing how to do cake decorations, and it's really, really awesome stuff. So yeah, you kind of mentioned a couple things there about your switcher setup, and I saw Ryan had some B-roll up as well. You're showing your setup. We have that are you set up in the studio now? I know you have that second device. Is that to kind of show off the setup, or is that something we could see?
Shall I move one of the cameras?
Well, this one, I think this was on. So yeah, for this one,
yeah,
you can see a little bit of how we would have a typical setup. So we kind of got microphone hooked up. Obviously, we use a MacBook anyway, just for me working and checking what.
This is usually my workspace. So usually Richard's laptop wouldn't be here. It would be kind of over there at the other side. So he would sit opposite me with all the sort of the iPads and the laptop. So I would just work in this little bit of space here.
Yeah. And then we use the iPad as like the main system for like tweaking between screens and putting your little logos on and all those sorts of things. And then we generally got like a couple of Archon mounts.
You want me to move one on the camera so I
Yeah,
can show
so
you?
you can kind of.
We work in an absolute mess. It's a bomb site here.
So we kind of got like.
that's everybody. That's everybody. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got like a couple of Archon mounts. So we can move the cameras up and down. Another little stands over here as well. You can see.
Have you got that one on?
No, it's not one. It's not switched on, that one.
Oh yeah, so this one's.
But yeah, we
just a little one as well that usually props up somewhere. Depending on what I'm making, depends on like where we put the different cameras, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's like it's not this it's not well, I don't know, it's like organized chaos for one of
yeah. Hey, it's whatever's gonna work for you all. How about your lighting? Do you just use natural lighting, or do you have some lighting extra lights set up?
Our lighting's really bad. We do actually have extra lights. They're not on at the moment.
No, there's one over. It's like a big. You can probably see over there.
Okay, yeah.
It's not on. We keep thinking about buying one of those ring lights. Because do they make you just look nicer? Or are they more flattering the ring lights? I keep seeing people using them, and they always look nice in the videos.
That's what I've got. That's what I'm using. So I don't know if that means anything to you, but I have one.
Lovely today, yeah.
Yeah. But also because where we are, when we used to do the videos at 10:30 on a Tuesday morning, we've got an online business, and like because our shop's quite small and it's kind of grown, we literally film in the middle like boxes and picking and packing orders everywhere, which is why we try and it's all crammed into one little space because we've just got stuff everywhere, haven't we?
Yeah.
But it makes it fun.
I would love to see everybody who's out there doing live streaming from like a home office or a small office. I would love for them to take a picture of what they look at, not what's behind them, because I'm like that too. There's cables everywhere. There's gear everywhere.
Well, that's it. It makes it. It's real, isn't it? That's how
it's real. Yeah. So, one last question, I guess, on your setup then. When you're live, is there any like specific switcher features that you use and kind of rely on or like a ton? I'm curious as to hear.
I mean, I quite like. Obviously, it's me that tends to look after the behind the scenes.
He likes the drum roll.
Okay, so the sound effects,
the sound effects, they're quite. That's quite a new thing that's coming, I think. The effects are nice. We use obviously the fade ins, fade outs, have a couple of screens on or 3 screens rolling at the same time.
You can't. Can you see it on there? I don't know for the things. You probably can't, can you?
We can kind of see it over there, yeah.
So like, for example, battery's dying. So like, obviously using all the transitions, we use a lot of transition features. Those sorts of things we use all the time, don't we?
Did you already say countdown?
Yeah, well, that's yep.
And the little pictures.
We have little pictures.
Obviously, I'm really technical. I know what nothing's called.
The picture. Yeah. Multi-views.
Yeah, when we use like when you drop in like you sort of like you know when you put your little icons on and bits and pieces like that, your logos.
Oh, lower thirds, yeah.
And the other thing that we use quite a lot is when we ask the audience questions. So obviously we use the polls and the voting on it, which is quite good as well. So you can set the polls up in the system, so then people can tally up and you can see it. also quite like we get a few cheeky viewers, and you quite like highlighting their comments on the screen as well.
I didn't
So
know
you,
you could do that.
yeah. We see.
See, I don't see the screen. I
Yeah,
see
so
what I'm
if you get
working
someone with a
on.
cheeky comment, yeah, there you go, just like that.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, so it's always quite good. So stuff like that, and it engages with your audience as well, because that's what people like to say. They like to watch, but they like to know that the comments they're being looked at as well.
Yeah, speaking of comments, everyone, I'll mention again, we're with Richard and Zoe of Zoe's Fancy Cakes. So if you have questions for them about how they're doing anything, you can put your questions in the comments and we'll be happy to get to them. I do like how you're talking about your setup. And that's one thing I always like to mention to people is you don't need a ton of gear to get started. Like you said, you just started off with just like the one iPad or an iPhone and can slowly grow into it and make it the full production that you want. So,
yeah. I mean, I would say from having done it a little bit now, the only thing I would say is you want to have a decent amount of memory on your devices you're using. So I think that is, if you're saving the footage, because we obviously back up our footage when we're shooting, so we can use it to edit later on for other purposes. But yeah, as long as you've got a decent sized memory, I think that's probably the one thing that I would say is useful to have.
Yeah, that's excellent. And very good advice. That's on my pre-live checklist, is making sure every device I have connected has enough storage on it, because the last thing you want to do is plan an hour-long stream and 15 minutes in, you're like, uh-oh, I'm out of space. What am I going to do? So, cool. I'm going to switch gears on you guys a little bit. So that's a whole bunch on the live streaming side of things. But you mentioned you also have this online business as well, where you're selling the products you're using. So I'm assuming the live streams are kind of also a demonstration on how to use these products and how they can be useful. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we try and, rather than doing the video specifically around a product, I'll have just decided to make something and it'll be whatever products I use for what I've decided to make. So I still choose what I want to make rather than specifically picking particular products, if that makes sense. We tend to find, like, if I'm doing one that's just for promoting like a single product and I'm testing a product, for example, there will be people that really want to watch it, they were interested in that product, but we don't get as many views if I try and sort of push it as a product thing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like we don't like to do the hard sale. So it's like, do you know what I mean? We'll be using products. People will ask, like say Emily that works for us, will link all the products that we are using, so they are there.
Yeah, people do always ask. People will say, "What's that you're using? Where can I get that from?" And then we can put the links in the comments, and it works best for us that way, rather than me kind of hard sale trying to push a product on someone.
But yeah, I mean, it does help with the online side of the business that we do have. So definitely we always see a big spike in sales after we've done the Facebook Live, which is it's always nice to have.
So other than just using the products, do you incorporate the live streams and the online business together any other ways, or?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, if you could look back, we just had a website up there. What we tend to do is we put we'll put videos that we've done using like recent Facebook Lives. We'll put them through to our website, and then there'll be like underneath it, there'll be bars of the products that we've used in the the video.
That's been used in that video.
So people can see videos that we've used and the products that we've used. They can buy them, like, as an easy place to find on the website, which does help.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. Do you have any tips, I guess, is another great question for all the people watching on our Facebook page here, or maybe watching afterwards on the YouTube channel. Do you have any tips for streamers looking to incorporate product features into their business?
Ooh. I think it's
I think you kind of mentioned one earlier that I like, which is maybe don't make the live stream be about the product, because people, I don't think, want to, like, if the product's good, it's going to sell itself, right? And you're just going to be able to use it and show how effective it is.
Yeah, I mean, I use a lot of the same thing each week. So often the regular watchers will have already purchased the things from us, and then they like that we're using it again because they're seeing as many different ways as possible that they can use a product. What would you say about that? I mean, I'm not a saleswoman at all. I'm really bad at selling stuff. I watch like other cake decorators that you can tell that their thing is selling products, and I watch their videos compared to mine, and you know, it really is pushing the products. And mine aren't really.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I would say mine aren't. I just
we're a bit of a softy sales, but
Sure.
but I guess it's like you say, people can see the products you're using, you can see what you can make with those products. You kind of always think, well, if you buy those, you've got to, you know, when you know you can use them to make something that we've just done. So you kind of get in a free how-to video. Plus, you can pick it with these things.
I mean, usually at the end of the video, we kind of give people an update. So those that only wanted to really watch for the free tutorial, they will have probably gone at this point. And then the regulars that like to have an update on what we've got in, we usually sort of say to them, oh, we've got this new in stock this week, or we've got this coming in, or I'll show them a new color range of sprinkles and stuff. So the hardcore followers like to watch that, and then they're also getting an update of what we have got new in the shop, but it wasn't predominantly in the main part of the video. It's all saved to the end. But what we started doing as well, actually, is, and I'd forgotten about this, we've been running competitions each week. So I have the paid for classes, and each week or each time we've been doing a new live stream, I've been asking them all to send in pictures of like their work. We picked like a theme. So this theme that's currently running is like a Star Wars one till the end of tonight, I think it is. So they have to share with us their pictures of their Star Wars themed cakes. And then I announce the winner in the next live stream. Sometimes the winner's watching, sometimes they're not. But I thought it was like a way to encourage people to watch each week, where they think, oh yeah, watch this week and we'll find out what you have to do this week to get a free class. Yeah,
very interesting, and that's very helpful. I saw one question. I think now would be a great time to answer some questions coming through the comments. And I will mention, because I know when we do a lot of these live streams, there's switcher specific questions come through as well. So we're going to focus here on questions for Zoe and Richard and their setups. And if you guys have the switcher specific questions, you can join us in the Facebook 101 group, which is a different group. And I'll be going live later this afternoon, and we can answer all those questions there for sure. But I know there was one coming through asking, with the reopenings happening, will you continue live streaming? And are you changing any of your plans with hopefully the pandemic coming to a close here?
So we are going to continue with the live streams, and we'll also continue with the paid for online classes. I would say the only thing that's changed is how often we're going to run them. So I know I mentioned earlier that we used to do 2 a week, then we put it down to 1 a week, and we've decided to do it 2 a month now, and we're doing 1 on the Tuesday morning at the beginning of each month, and then we altered the second one per month to be in the evening, so that it is more convenient for people that can't watch during the day. So we have taken it down to 2, mainly because there's not as many viewers during the day, since people are starting to go back to work, but also it gives us time to get on with picking and packing like the products that people are buying to post out. But yeah, the online classes are going to continue. So even though when things go a bit more back to normal, I'll start running face-to-face classes again, I don't think I'll run as many face-to-face ones as what I used to do, because the online ones, they're really good for people in other countries that couldn't get to a class of mine.
Just to give you a bit, the online classes, we actually do use the Switcher Studio for. So we, like say, we still live stream all the online classes that people pay for using the Switcher Studio setup. So, you know what I mean? So it's used for that purpose as well. And we actually use Switcher Studio to record videos that we aren't actually live streaming either, don't we? So we'll record them into like dummy groups.
Yeah, so we've been doing that today. You could probably see the bits that I've been doing today, little cookies I've been making today. And
in that camera.
See, this is why I'm not left in charge of anything. I can't work out what camera angles what. So we were live streaming into a group, but a private group where we're the only members, so no one else can see it. But then we can download the footage afterwards, and I can cut it and do what I want with it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So we use it for quite a variety of purposes, apart from the actual, like say, live streaming itself as well.
That's very smart. I love hearing those things too, of people being creative and intuitive with the software and making it work for them as well. Ryan, I'm going to start telling everybody out there where they can find more of this information. But if you have any other questions, you can either put them up on the screen or Slack them to me, and I'll make sure we can talk to those as well. Oh, here's another one from Haley. I think Haley's here just because I see she's giving Chewbacca a hug there. And I know we just said the May 4th Chewbacca cake. So Do you plan out the structure of your tutorials for your live streams? Is the question here. There's more to it. How did you find a good flow that people could follow? Is the rest of that question.
I make it up as I go along.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say there was more organization. No, tomorrow's one that we're doing, because we're doing it in partnership with you guys tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in partnership with Switcher Studio. Because it's in partnership, I felt like I should do a bit more organizing than what I normally do. So I did like a practice one. And then I haven't actually written down the tools and equipment for it, because I wasn't quite that organized. But I've done a practice one so that I could show people in advance what we're going to be making, whereas often I don't even get as far as that. As far as planning it out, sometimes I might think that there's a picture that I want to show people in the video, or I'll say to Richard, can you put this up on screen, this text, to remind people about something. But
we have done, I mean,
I don't usually plan it out very much, do I? It's
when we have got like
make it up as we go along.
We've got like a Zoe's Fancy Cakers community group on Facebook. We do sometimes put polls in there occasionally, haven't we, where we've asked people to vote what they'd like to see next week. So we've given them like 5 or 6 choices, and then the one with the most votes we kind of use as the basis for next week. So we have done that a few times, and that gets people involved, and that's works quite well. It also takes the pressure from us having to decide what we're making and what you're making.
Apart from sometimes it's things that are too difficult for me to make in a live stream. I mean, the only things I really have to plan is that it's something that doesn't take too long. I think initially I used to be able to do them all in about an hour, and gradually they're just creeping over and over and over. So like tomorrow's I'm expecting to be about 2 hours. I know the practice one actually took me longer than 2 hours, but I'll get a few things prepped.
You've done it once now, you'd be quick.
Yeah, I'll get a couple of things prepped in advance, ready, and it should be a bit quicker tomorrow.
Yeah, because that's a question. I mean, with a live stream, so we never quite know how long we want you on to be for live, if you know what I mean. Because obviously people are watching you there, and you like to see because it's live. And it's one thing we never really thought about it too much to start with, did we? About how long...
some people will watch us all day. The hardcore ones will watch all day, and then obviously some people will start to get a bit bored after an hour. I know sometimes people will say, "Can I fast forward this bit?" And we have to say, not while it's live. Once we finish live, then you can go backwards and forwards. While I'm live, you can't fast forward to me.
That would be an impressive feat if we're able to fast forward live video. Just going through, seeing some other comments. I see a really nice comment here from Deborah Scott, just basically praising how good your setups are and how great your everything is that you're doing. I know the whole thing isn't going to show up there on screen, but yeah, thank you, Deborah, for that. I see another comment coming through here saying they would indeed watch all day. Yeah,
if they recognize a few of these names.
All these
names. Good.
Lovely watchers.
Yeah. I see Julie asked the question too. I think this is right after we went over it, but was asking, do you use Switcher for your paid classes as well?
Yeah.
And yes is the answer to that one. Well, Richard, Zoe, can't thank you enough for coming on and hanging out and answering questions and sharing your experiences with all of us. So yeah, go check that out if anybody's interested. zoefancycakes.co.uk. You can also check them out on YouTube. It's just Zoe's Fancy Cakes. Yeah. And same thing on Facebook. We'll get you there. I'll tell you what, I'm not a baker myself, but I'm one of those people who will watch a DIY or someone make something to see how the heck you make something so pretty. So yeah, you have a subscriber on the YouTube channel from me at least, just so you can watch these things be made. So yeah, also on Instagram there, Zoe's Fancy Cakes. I assume if you just type into Google or your search engine or any of the social media channels, Zoe's Fancy Cakes, it's going to show up. So yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and plug again. If you guys want to see one of these productions live tomorrow, 6 p.m. UK time, that is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is tomorrow, May 20th. You all are going to be doing a live stream. So yeah, you guys can definitely check that out at their Facebook page. It's going to be on the Facebook, right?
Yeah, I'll be on the Facebook, yes.
Yeah. Again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. You can also follow our page here for more of these Made with Switcher live streams. And again, Richard and Zoe, thank you so much for being awesome creators, awesome people and for joining me here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. And I think I might have checked some of your 101 rooms as well now to get a bit better.
Sure. Yeah, anytime. Take care. And thank you all as well for tuning in. For those of you who are watching live on Facebook, and if you're watching this on the YouTube channel afterwards, thank you so much for checking out there. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.